Hello, good morning. Okay, maybe can I ask you to split a little bit and also occupy some of the tables that are here in front? Or it's okay. You can stay. We will change the setting for after the coffee break. No stress. Okay. Thank you very much. It's not working. Can you please show the slides? Okay. Welcome. Welcome for today's thematic session. My name is Laurent Rathouis. I am one of the thematic experts of the Solisi Learning Platform. Today, I'm glad to be moderating this session on the topic of AI-powered local innovations. And I'm not alone. I am with my colleague, Mark Patchinson.
Good morning,
and
everyone.
Also Arno Morrison over there. Hello. And today, we are having three interesting speakers from all over Europe. We will have a keynote presentation from remote by Gianluca Misuraca from Politecnico di Milano and also director of the AI for Gov master program. Then we will have two speakers presenting some interesting Interreg Europe good practices from two Interreg Europe different projects tackling AI. Laurent Rathouis from Centre Hospitalier Chalon-sur-Saône, France. Hello. We will see you on stage later on. And also Aino-Maija Vaskelainen, project manager at the city of Tampere in Finland. So today, this is the agenda for today's session. So as you can see, we will have two different sessions. We will have a 10:30, half an hour coffee break. During the first session, it will be usual presentations. We will hear and listen from our speakers' experiences. And we'll have also a short introduction on this actually daily topic, because maybe please raise your hand. How many, if you at least hear the word AI once per day? Please raise your hand. More than once. Who's okay? Several times. So I believe that AI is part of our daily lives, isn't it? After the coffee break, it will be the time for you to interact. Today is also, you're going to be active participants in our thematic discussions. We will, as you can see, we are setting up some flip charts with some sticky notes. We will be moderating two different, we will see after the coffee break how we are going to handle this, but it will be 3 working groups, and we will have 2 different topics, and we are eager to listening also to your experiences from your own perspective, and also to make you reflect on this topic. Before we get started, please phones up. As yesterday, we will be using this Slido. So please connect to our Slido. And we are having 3 different questions. The first one is easy. It's a word cloud that will pop up. The question is, if you could use AI to solve one major challenge in your organization, what would it be? Okay. Shortage of competency. Okay. Short-term procedures, prioritization. Okay, so we see there are some thematic suggestions, such as water management, but also a lot of organizational challenges, team working, shortage of competences, communication, optimization, data, processes. I believe that we are going to listen to these keywords during our session. But it's good that you are already mentioning also some thematic perspectives. Environmental management, I see as well. Overall well-being and planetary problems. We will see how the AI can be used to tackle also societal challenges. And for local authorities, this is an important tool to contribute to that. Thank you very much. The next question is a multiple choice, so a little bit more challenging. What do you think is the biggest challenge in adopting AI in local governments? So we can see some of the words appeared in the previous Slido. Technical skills and training, limited budget and resources, regulatory and ethical concerns, we will discuss about it, and data, availability and infrastructure. It's time to vote. Okay. Okay, it seems that we have, not a winner. Okay, well, still, let's wait. Yes, so it seems, yeah, it's between lack of technical skills and the regulatory and ethical concerns. But it's quite interesting that the last option is limited budget and resources. Very interesting. So it seems that your organizations are already preparing themselves to accept this challenge. Okay, thank you very much. So we have an equal position for lack of technical skills and training, and also regulatory and ethical concerns. And please keep these responses in mind for our working groups, because they will be useful to already set the stage for our discussions. And third question, it's a quiz. So a little bit more challenging. Oh, what's happening? It should not be like that. Maybe I'm going to need to go back. So I'm sorry, let's try again. Here, okay. So, it's just 15 seconds. AI is already being used in local governments worldwide. Which of the following is not a common application of AI in public services? And I don't have the time to see, okay. Okay. So, of course, the correct answer was replacing elected officials with AI-driven decision makers. We have the chance to live in the European Union and not somewhere else, and I don't want to mention names. So we know that we are living in a digital era where human is still at the center of our action and also political action. So of course we are not replacing elected representatives by robots. So 60% of you got it right. Yeah, I knew that the third option was tricky, and we will discuss about it, because using AI for public safety and healthcare, we can do that, but we need to pay attention to what are the limits concerning data protection, personal data protection, and we will discuss about how the AI Act has developed a framework, a common framework for Europeans to deal with ethical use of AI. Thank you very much for your participation. So yes, of course, this was the right answer. So we have a winner. Who's Frank? Yeah, very good. And also Anna and Jonas, second and third place. Very good. Thank you for your active participation. And now I leave the floor to Mark Pattinson for a short thematic introduction. Thank you, and enjoy this session.
Thank you, Laura, for warming everyone up. The next couple of slides, literally 3, are intended to, the clicker will work, good, to reflect with you with some of the key words that are already in your brains. We saw from the responses you gave to the different word clouds that, you know, when we talk about AI, one of the first things you think about is impact. Impact on my job, on my organization, on the society that I'm working with in a local authority context or a national policy. The administrative framework is something that is changing rapidly, and we'll share some results from reports that you may have read, and if you haven't read, well, we're giving you the links today. Skills development, down in the bottom left-hand corner. I think that was on all of the word cloud suggestions, and you'll see that as a recurring theme, I think, today. And in one of our keynote speakers, we'll address that skills issue. The processes in which you are engaged, team building, we saw that in the word cloud. I think it came out in the middle as the most important. But how do we engage with the wider society that are meant to be benefiting from the policies we put in place, whether you're in water management as highlighted, or supporting SMEs access research and innovation resources. So the partnerships that need to be established, the frameworks, are important to give it some strong framework, but also the sustainability for operating in a trust-based context. As we said yesterday, the role of the Policy Learning Platform is not only to showcase what you're doing in Interreg Europe, but also to make sure that we are bringing you relevant information from published reports, from EU draft papers, from working groups, etc. This one is from the Committee of Regions. It was published last year. They had a special commission on artificial intelligence. Committee of Regions obviously focus on the themes that are mostly at a regional level, but thanks to the work of your thematic experts, and I'm not going to say whether ChatGPT or equivalent helped us do this summary for you, but that's up to you to look at it. But you can see here the 5 key points that we thought were worth sharing with you. Perhaps you'll recognize them from your word cloud, that the group in this room are already thinking about, you know, yes, we are taking some tentative steps. Some departments in our organizations are more advanced. Last week with Laura, we'd had a webinar on AI-powered apps and city engagement, and we saw some great work being done in City of Poznan, and at the other extreme, one of Europe's biggest regions, Île-de-France, the Paris region. So this uneven adoption and rollout of AI is a real issue, and we can see the Committee of Regions gave us some statistics where it's happening faster, you know, as you can see from the Western and Northern European statistics here. The applications that are being deployed, internal efficiency, service delivery, monitoring, tracking the use of services on digital platforms. The challenges, I think the skills expertise is there. And just perhaps picking up on the 4th point, the AI Act that was published last year was a major step forward in terms of creating a framework in which regional, national governments could operate and at least take into account the issues of interoperability. The Adopt AI study that was published before the AI Act, so some of it is perhaps slightly out of date, but you can, you know, by flashing the QR code, have access to it, picks up some very similar themes to what the Committee of Regions were also highlighting. I will just pick out one, and because at Interreg Europe we're biased, we like the, you know, point 5 on the cross-border dimensions. And there is a team within DG Digit. If you've never heard of DG Digit, it does exist, and their job is to help us implement, help us find good practices through platforms, and it's interesting work. Last year, Laura and I did a workshop in Vilnius on demonstrating how regional authorities, how national authorities can tackle this interoperability cross-border. Just think of it in simple terms, you know, cross-border cities working together on mobility, transport. Well, you want connectivity. The emergency services, you don't want to suddenly find that, you know, your phone call gets sent to the wrong country or it doesn't get sent to. So there's a lot of hard societal impacts that AI and interoperability will deliver. And I think the regional components that we find in Interreg Europe are well placed to give them material, case studies, good practices that can be shared and rolled out elsewhere. The other points, I think, are going to be key themes when you have our roundtable discussions later, and we can come back to them. But skills, governance, the regulatory framework, which has now been, let's say, simplified with the AI Act. But I think the first question Laura asked you, you know, how many times a day do you hear AI, indicates that this material, the previous Committee of Regions report, is already out of date. It's happening so fast. And this is one of the challenges, I think, really, not only in terms of the skills, but making sure your investments will actually be focused on the right issues, enabling you to deliver better services and staying, let's say, aligned with the needs of society and giving them, let's say, trust-based, AI-based services. The next slide, the public sector tech watch vision, will be showcased by my colleague Laura. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Mark. Okay, thank you. Yes, so we also work together with the Joint Research Center, and our colleagues couldn't come today, but they were kind enough to share some of their slides presenting this interesting tool. And I really invite you to scan the QR code and get to know more about it. It's one of their latest initiatives, and they're also working with the Digit as, and also DG Connect, as Mark mentioned before, at the European Commission. It's a place for you, policymakers, to get insights on your side and to get training and to learn about the latest trends on digitalization all over Europe. But you can also participate and submit your case study, and you will receive a feedback from the JARC on your good practices. So this is some of the main assets of the platform. You will see some dashboards, and I really invite you to navigate into the platform and to see, if you are curious enough, to see how other regions and other local authorities all over Europe are dealing with digitalization of their internal procedures, but also of public service delivery. Some other reports, very interesting. If you want to have some readings for tonight, when you are on a plane, you can scan also this QR code and read those interesting reports on AI, blockchain, and also GovTech. Very interesting. I believe it's also a word that we are going to hear today several times, especially during our working groups. And also some other informations. Luca Tangi is the expert at the Joint Research Center who kindly gave us his slides to be presented today to you. And if I'm not wrong, I believe that our speaker is already connected. And I ask the technical team to confirm and please assist us. Okay, so okay, good. Good morning. Buongiorno, Gianluca. Can you hear us?
Hello, ciao Laura. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. And I can confirm that we can hear you well. So here in Krakow, we are in the main hall of our venue, Starac, I can't pronounce it, I'm very sorry for it. But we are around, I would say, 60 participants. So we are very eager to listening to your presentation. And the floor is yours. You have 10 to 15 minutes. Thank you.
Okay, thanks to you, and really sorry. I would have loved to be there with you in person, but was really not possible. Laura knows I tried, but it's a real pleasure to be here. And actually, your presentation before was really setting the stage, because some of the issues you have mentioned. I mean, I've been and I'm still involved, as I've been working for almost 12 years for the Joint Research Center, and in fact, I was leading all the area of digital governance, public sector innovation, and then artificial intelligence for the public sector. So colleagues like Luca and others were part of my team that is still working on this, and with, in fact, a lot of attention to the use and the impact or the adoption of artificial intelligence in the public sector that was mentioned by you. And so I'll try briefly to go through some of the issues that I'm sure you have been discussing and you will be discussing during the workshop. And again, I'm sorry I cannot be there with you, but looking in particular at the educational part, at the training part of this. But before doing that, I will try to bring you a bit into the future by looking at some of the past work I've been doing exactly when I was about to end my term at the Joint Research Center, and exactly looking at the, how this hype and rhetoric of artificial intelligence is actually filling our days, as I saw you were discussing, and how we can govern, provided we can do that, the use of artificial intelligence in the public sector, and if we are ready for it. And then I will conclude by saying that actually it is time to not stop, but rather accelerate the adoption of artificial intelligence and data-driven governance in our public sector all over Europe and globally. Now, in the middle of the pandemic, in fact, I was leading a foresight exercise for the European Commission, and looking back 5 years later, I see that we were actually looking at the right dimensions of the impact that the digital transformation was having and is still having now in a much rapid manner on our society. And we identified at the time what is actually now being discussed everywhere, how we regulate or not the digital transformation landscape, in particular artificial intelligence. This was the time we in the Commission with member states, we were discussing exactly if a regulation of AI was needed, so the AI Act and the AI package that came after that, but also whether we should, let's say, have a more, decisive move into what is now known as the digital sovereignty, words that were not used a few years ago, whether we should be just passive, let's say, data subjects, or we are still today in the status quo where we just tick the boxes of the GDPR and we hope our data will not be misused, or if rather we can have really a more active data ownership. So I won't have time to go into these into details, but still I believe, I'm an optimist after all, as all futurists, that of course we don't know the future, but we hope that if the shapers and the makers of technology actually comes together in Europe, perhaps, then we could have a more open and trusted governance, digital governance realm. And I won't go into the other scenario that of course are crystallized by the risks and the fear that we have of a surveillance capitalism, as Shoshana Zuboff mentioned in her book, or what Cass Sunstein in his book that was written in 2005 and then republished with a lot of success in 2020, The Law of Fear, actually anticipate that the precautionary principle normally give us the illusion that if we don't know how things will go, if we do something, we normally tend not to do anything. And this is what, unfortunately, policymakers in the digital age have not the luxury, do not have the luxury to do so. So, as I said, we don't know what will be the future, but clearly we are just at the beginning of the immersion of this on this digital transformation. And what we know is instead that digital technologies, and in particular the new generation of artificial intelligence technologies, and I say at the plural because this is really a set of technologies from machine learning to deep learning, but also robotics and many other technologies that are really changing our society and our life. And we know by now that they are mainly wrong. In many cases, they give us wrong answers, or they have many limitations. They discriminate by default and so forth. And then, especially, they are still lacking of performance when they require logical reasoning skills. But they are improving very much and very rapidly. And they are already transforming our public sector, and that's why our public sector needs also to be radically transformed. And this is something that we are keeping saying from many years, but we are not really doing what in the design thinking. I'm now associated to the Politecnico di Milano in the Department of Design and also to other universities, but we talk about reframing, where we mean not just the reorganization, the famous business process reengineering, but really a change, a complete change also in the cognitive aspect, in the cultural mindset of the public sector, to really embrace the complexity that we have in the change strategy needed to ensure that we address not only the technological factors, but also the economic, the political and social aspects of the digital transformation. As I don't have much time, I'll just also, as a colleague before, point you to one of the report that we produced and with the scenarios and the recommendations back in 2020, but they are still very much actual. And in fact, they were also used as one of the input for the declaration of ministers that in 2020 at the Berlin conference actually set an important precedent, I would say, where digital government was not just seen as a technological phenomenon, but rather a social and political phenomenon to be considered, especially if we want to defend and protect our citizens and in line with the values and principles underpinning our own digital transformation and society. So this brings me to the use of AI in the public services in the European Union. And as Laura rightly pointed out, there is now a work that is expanding from the original seminal work we have done back in 2020 at the AI Watch. That was the observatory of the use and adoption of artificial intelligence in Europe, and in particular the area on the public sector I was leading. I mean, we did something, I would say, quite banal, but still unique at the time, because we gathered cases from public administrations in Europe, and we tried to understand what was the real adoption and use of these technologies beyond the claim or the rhetoric of, oh yes, we are using AI, we are planning to use AI, but what do you mean by using AI? And that's, we collected cases, and we actually derived the typology from the cases, showing a big diversity and also the fact that at that time, but unfortunately, I would say after 5 years, we are not so much differently from that. We still see a very superficial use of the potential of artificial intelligence, exactly as an ensemble of technologies, not just the use of machine learning or advanced use of Excel, I would say. And in fact, what would be really changing paradigmatically the use of AI in the public sector is, first of all, going beyond the challenges that we still have in data governance, and then making sure that we use the various technologies according to the different uses and purposes that we want to serve. And that's why, looking at also similar work done by colleagues in the US at that time. We also classified our sample at the time that now could be used with the almost 1,000 cases that colleagues of JRC and Digit are in fact collecting through the Public Sector Tech Watch, and trying to see if we are using this technology to really change end-to-end our service, our public services. At the moment, or at least at the time we made the analysis, we saw that only a small percentage, 5%, were actually using these technologies from exactly end-to-end, so making sure that the service to the citizens is fully automated. Now, of course, things are improving also because there is a better understanding and policy support. But again, if we look back to what we have done at the time when the coordinated plan of action of the European Union member states were first published in 2018 and then in 2021, we saw that there was many strategies that evolved in member states. But if we look at this from a public policy perspective, using a metaphor that we use in this field, we saw at that time a lot of sermons, but very little carrot and sticks. So there was no, and there are still not many initiatives that are really putting incentives or penalization if you don't do something. There was a lot of claim like, oh, we have to train people, we have to build, we have to be ethical, we have to fund projects, but not real follow up on this, unfortunately. And I really hope that in the next coordinated plan of action, when it will be published, there will be more, let's say, concrete actions in that direction. So, shall we ask ourselves, are we still, let's say, repeating the history of the digital government, e-government wave of the past, a déjà vu, and how we actually make sure that we go beyond the syndrome of ever piloting that I normally say, and how we sail through the new unknowns that we have when we talk about artificial intelligence, making sure that we can institutionalize these, learning from good practices as you are trying to do today. And this means that we need to govern, or try at least to address the governance of artificial intelligence in the public sector, knowing that the public sector has multiple roles. It's not only the regulator, is also using, and actually one of the major investors in terms of spending on technology solutions, but is also the platform that could really be the driver of change in the use of technology, if done in a responsible manner. We already say that there is a high potential for improving the quality of services, because basically we have for the first time in history, let's say, three conditions that were not seen before: a large availability of data, computing power that increasingly being made at disposal, but also the possibility through algorithms that are becoming more and more sophisticated, not necessarily more intelligent, the possibility to really personalize and customize services to citizens. But on the other side, I think we are all aware of the many risks, and that's why the risk-based approach of the AI Act became so important, because these technologies are, let's say, discriminatory by default. They are not transparent, so we don't necessarily understand and know what's happening within the black box. And that's why this brings me to the trilemma of the policymakers in the digital age, that on one side we need to protect the citizens from possible risks and harms of the algorithms, let's say, but also the need to use this technology to make sure that they could increase the efficiency and the quality of services. But when it comes to AI, while this could be applicable to any technology, when it comes to AI, we have to consider that it's not enough to regulate. I mean, of course, we need to make sure that we specifically address the risks of AI in a specific context, but also we are users of this technology in the public sector, and of course we need to make sure that there is an oversight of the use and adoption of these technologies, because of course the public sector has by definition the need to be ethical and inclusive. But what is really different when it comes to artificial intelligence is the fact that the real power, but also the big challenge, is that these technologies somehow are better than us in many respects, better than humans. So if we decide to really surrender to the superhuman capacities of these technologies without oversight, we really have to be sure that this will be done respecting the principles and values that we as human beings have given to these technologies. And of course, if we manage to do these three things at the same time, we will have found the Holy Grail. And of course, we have to make sure that this is done before it's too late, and we have we have to be aware how we can turn away from possible dystopian futures. There are no shortcuts. It's not enough to talk about ethics and philosophy, but we really have to handle this. There's no technological solution that we can follow, and we have to make sure that we, as we said before, in general for the digital transformation, we have to be ready for disruption, because this technology is really disrupting our own complex public sector mechanism. So we really need to rethink the way we deliver the services, we manage data, and how we really implement automatic and algorithmic decision making. So in practice, we really need to redesign, I would say radically, our models of governance. How far are we then from the Holy Grail? Well, if we look at data now of a couple of years ago, but there probably some update we need to check, we see that the ITU has been assessing quite pessimistically, I would say, the fact that most of government worldwide have not yet really a digital governance structure and framework to embrace the complexity of the digital transformation. And the UK have already identified in 2023 the need to make sure that public authorities, policymakers, civil servants have the right skills for embracing the digital futures. And if we go then to a more philosophical question, then we should ask ourselves if we are going too fast. And some have been maybe instrumentally asked this question. It's true that we are moving from a society where was the humans. The human was actually those coding algorithms and taking responsibility for the quality of the results, to a situation where actually the machine that are self-learning and actually explaining specific behavior, actually nudging us and into a specific direction. So basically, if we revisit the Alan Turing question, basic question on the test of Turing to check whether a machine can think, that was actually done the same year when Isaac Asimov wrote the first of his series of science fiction, I, Robot. We see that the large language models are really changing, potentially, transformationally, our society. And then we have to be careful in the way we address this new paradigm. And again, the UK went a bit more in-depth in the analysis of whether our public sector is ready for mastering artificial intelligence, and 70% of the respondents to a survey done last year show that actually skills are the main barriers to the real adoption of the technology and artificial intelligence in government. So colleagues of JRC have been also putting this in perspective and show that investment and the skills are the main priorities to follow if we want to really adopt artificial intelligence in the public sector. And that's why with colleagues I have designed back in 2021 the AI for Gov that was a project now ended successfully and still continued, where we designed the first international master on artificial intelligence in public sector, and we started developing an ecosystem and a network of excellence on AI for government across the EU, with the idea of establishing a knowledge hub of excellence on AI for the public sector that has an international recognition. This was done as part of a co-funded project of the EU under the Connecting Europe facility with the Politecnico di Madrid, the Politecnico di Milano, and other partners from Estonia and Germany. And this now is being further established, and we are now starting the 5th edition soon. So what we have done differently and that's been rewarded. We got the European Digital Skills Award in 2023, and we are recognized in many international organizations and fora, was that we put together different disciplines, not just the data science or the technological component of artificial intelligence, but we looked at the core of public administration and the design thinking approach. So trying to look at the different profiles and persona, I would say, that we consider needed to create what we call the functional specialists on AI for public services. We don't need to be all expert on Python, for example, or be a data scientist. We may need a team of experts that is collectively addressing all the challenges that we need from ethics, public procurement, or other aspects that are needed to address the integration and the institutionalization of artificial intelligence in the public sector, and as well, very important, the possibility to basically speak the same language with the private sector, with academia, so making sure that we have this multidisciplinary and multi-stakeholder approach needed for the success of any project on artificial intelligence in the public sector. And we went a bit further, working together with UNESCO and looking at our curriculum and our approach that is very much project-based learning, and making sure that there is a global understanding and the possibility to strengthen also at the international level the cooperation. And that's why we came up with what I call the digital governance and artificial intelligence compass for policymakers and regulators that is being now promoted by UNESCO in different countries worldwide. And to conclude, as I'm going a bit longer than expected, and sorry for that. So we were, as I said, even in the last e-government survey of the United Nations Department of Economic and Social Affairs, we were identified as a best practice. And indeed, the title, I was a contributor to that report that we choose on accelerating digital transformation for sustainable development, was also the, let's say, somehow anticipating the new project I have now the pleasure to lead, that and we call the AI for Gov Accelerate, or AI for GovX, that has the ambition, and we just started last month, to further scale up what we have learned from AI for Gov, but with a much broader partnership. We have a consortium of 44 organizations across Europe, and with a 20 million euro budget, we are planning to have really a cross-cutting, across Europe capacity building experience, let's say, or offer in different languages also, because this is very important, and with different format. So we are currently designing these with many academic and non-academic institutions, and we also aim to cooperate at the international level, for instance, with the newly established United Nations University Center in Bologna, and also hopefully by July July this year, we should present at the World Summit on the Information Society also some initial contribution to the global global debate. But most important, I hope that the policymakers and the civil servants in the room will also be interested in supporting us, in helping us actually make sure that the public administration at the national, regional, and local level are actually equipped to dive into the future of digital governance. And of course, I will be very happy to further contribute to this, to the debate and to the follow-up of this very important event, which I'm really sorry I cannot be there with you, but I wish you a very successful deliberation. Thanks a lot for your attention.
Thank you. Thank you, Gianluca. Thank you to the technical team as well. We always hope that the streaming works, and we heard you very clearly. So well done, technical team. One quick question from Laura and I, and then I think we'll debate the points you've mentioned in our later sessions. The question of, do we have a choice? Listening and watching your slides, I would have rushed out the room with an agenda for, delivering and moving forward on the IA agenda if it didn't already exist in my organization. You mentioned a couple of times the issues of the cultural resistance, the barriers that maybe still are there. But once again, listening to your presentation, there are disciples in this room, hopefully, going to take this message forward. But what do you see as being some of the areas of resistance and concerns for taking AI mainstream in terms of public policy, design, implementation, and delivery of services? Are there one or two areas of real concern that you still see through your work?
Well, I mean, on this, I believe that we are here preaching to the converted already, no? But
hopefully.
That when you go back home to your organization, I'm sure there will be a lot of resistance in any change. There's this famous joke. Yes, we want to innovate, but not too much change, please. So clearly, that's the main thing. And in the last slide, I think of Laura, there was a reference to GovTech. Now, this is the new buzzword. Everybody is now talking about GovTech, and so I made a joke I won't repeat here when I presented our GovTech 2050 roadmap that I designed with colleagues and will be published soon. So this will be this is a work of the colleagues of Digit and JRC. I contributed leading the foresight exercise. And I mean, what do we mean by GovTech? So clearly, we need to ensure that we have the industry on board, the startups. Now it's very fashionable. Let's do a startup contest, okay? And then what? We still have to use the old public procurement rules. Or the legal constraints we have. So we really need to, and here it's easy for me as being Italian to quote two of my former prime ministers, Mario Draghi and Enrico Letta, because they have been asked to produce two reports for the President of the European Commission. And they are clearly speaking to us because they are telling us we need to harmonize the regulatory framework for the digital world. We probably need to change. Enrico Letta even proposed a 28 regime. So something that we don't have in Europe. If we still go with 27 and 27 strategies, we won't go far. So we really need to go beyond. You talked about cross-border cooperation across regions. You talked about sharing experience across cities. You talked about interoperability. It's still a very unknown. So this is where we really need to put our hands on. Data spaces and digital transformation goes hand in hand with AI. That's why our new project, AI for Gov Accelerate, is not just focusing on artificial intelligence. That, of course, is the sexy thing everybody is talking about. We need really to go back, make our homework on data governance and how we really see the digital technology changing our society.
Okay, well, thank you for those further insights. For the audience, we will obviously share Gianluca's slides with you, so you'll be able to admire the wonderful graphics, especially that last one with the human diving in becoming a digital image. And we look forward to further cooperation. I think there's a lot more that Interreg Europe Policy Learning Platform can do on the issue of GovTech and AI. So thank you again, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Good. Okay, so after this very, very comprehensive thematic introduction, let's dive. So again, the last picture presented by Gianluca. Let's dive into the practical solutions that are already in place. And we have the chance today, and I'm welcoming on stage Laurent, who is going to present a project developed in the Bourgogne-Franche-Comté region in France. And he's an engineer, so he has also technical experience. And it's about the use of AI in healthcare, and ready and triggered to listening to you. And you can use this clicker,
Thank
and
you,
the floor
Laurent.
is yours. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Laurent Rathouis, and I'm an engineer in medical device. And I'm in stage today for present augmented care project. In first time, yes, I give you a presentation of William Morey Hospital, and after the origin of the project, and the influence of coronavirus period, and after how we have, I give you a description of augmented care project, how we are structuring the project, how we have deployed this project, and how we have designed IT infrastructure to build a predictive score for respiratory distress. And at the end, a timeline of this project and conclusion. So, William Morey, it's an hospital in France, in the east of France, approximately in the middle. We are in a regional hospital group. In this regional, we are 11 groups, and we are one in south of regional, a small one. We have a population catchment area of 400,000 people. The hospital have 418 beds of medicine, surgery, and obstetric. And we have 270 beds of geriatric care. So, in 2019, it's the origin of the project. We start a reflection of the evolution of the hospital. At this time, in France, we have 18 million people over 60 years. 1 in 10 people are over 75 years. And we have increase in polypathological patients to come in hospital. In the same time, we have a decline in medical demography. And yes, just one number for illustrate that. 10,000 deaths a year for poor communication in France. So we want to reduce the risk of human error through the development of communication of AI. After that, in 2020 and 2021, we have a coronavirus disease period. At this time, we have a massive influx of serious patients. And at this time, we must transform the medical unit very quickly in a critical care unit. So it's a big stress test for hospital at this time, and we want to develop an early warning score of patients to, in the first time, to respiratory distress. The objective is increase flexibility of hospital, because we must switch very quickly medical unit in critical care unit, and we want to reduce the mental workload of clinicians. For do that, we must connect every device to send alarms and medical data to the network and to send it to a database. We want to transform weak signal in a strong signal to reduce patient care time. And for that, we must structure data for they are in a recurrent format, and after we send it to a big database. With that, we can training a AI for build an early warning score. So in 2022, we found partnerships, and we have different partnerships. We have European Union who financing the IT infrastructure for 1.5 million euros. We have regional Bourgogne-Franche-Comté who financing monitor and AI tools for 700,000 euros. And we are Earth Regional Agency who financing 2 paramedical staff to support to support the transformation, the management of health care practice. This project is over 5.7 million in investment and 600,000 in operating budget. In the same time, we build a multidisciplinary team with different profile. We have engineer in medical device, we have IT infrastructure manager, we have interoperability manager, nurse auxiliary, technical. We have a team of 11 people who managing this project during between three years. In 2023, we start to deploy this project in the medical unit. The first one is ambulatory medical unit. Why? Because in this unit, patients come for 1 day to receive cancer drug treatment. And we want to monitor this patient during the treatment. So for that, we have installed fixed and mobile monitor in each room. We have connected it to a central unit, and we can send alarms and data, medical data. And the central unit is in a medical room or nurse room, and we can send notification and alarms to clinicians' mobile. What is the feedback of this first test? The feedback is how IT infrastructure are not designed to support a big influx of data and interoperability of medical device. So in 2024, last year, we have designed our IT infrastructure in 4 steps. The first one is securing network and Wi-Fi. And second step, we install an interoperability platform to structure data for have data in a recurrent format, for have available and usable data. After that, we have sent medical data in a med data box. This med data box gives storage of data, and we have actually 5 years patient history. And the last step, we have connect last year's different medical device we have connect all the monitor of the hospital. We have connect electrocardiogram, all electrocardiogram, and we have connect ultrasound scanner and picture archiving communication system. Now, in 2025, we work to have a patient agreement on authorization to use health data for AI. For that, we must be compliant with the General Data Protection Regulation. And it's in 2 steps. The first one, your database must be a healthcare data host. That's okay for us because we have this certification in January. Now, we work to have an e-consentment to a patient agreement. And we think we have this certification in June. After that, we will start to training our AI. So, AI education. For training your AI, you must build cohort. We have built 3 cohorts. First one is a cohort with patient with respiratory distress. The second one is patient is not deteriorating, but no respiratory distress. And the third one is a patient with no respiratory distress. With all these patients and all the medical data of this patient, you can training your AI in 5 steps. First one, you integrated data. Second one, you cleaning data. And after, you have a correlation analysis. After that, you can start to prototype your predictive model. You have different type of model. You have clustering, you have decision tree, you have neuronal network. And after, you have a step of cross-validation. And when you have results, you must present your result to medical staff for validation. And after, you restart the run to increase the sensitivity of your early warning score. This is the timeline of augmented care project. You can see we have started the reflection in 2019. We have started the deployment of the project in 2023, and we will start to training the AI in June in this year in 2025. And we think we must training this AI during 1.5 years for a good sensitivity. So in production, in fact, we have early warning score at the end of 2026. For conclude, I want to say 3 things. First one, if you want to develop AI and AI tools, you must design your IT infrastructure for have a big inflow of data and for have an interoperability of your device. Second one, and maybe the leitmotif for me, you must work your the quality of your data. If you want a good sensibility, a good tools, you must have a good quality of data. And the third, you must have human resource to support the change of practice. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, Laurent.
Thank you very much. Well, you can stay here. Maybe, maybe we can remind the audience that this is some of the good practices that were put forward by the ENAIBLER project, funded by Interreg Europe. Any questions from the audience for Laurent? Don't be shy.
Everything is clear.
Or maybe think about it and we will take the questions afterwards. And I can welcome on stage Aino-Maija from the city of Tampere, project leader of the AI for Citizens Interreg Europe project. And she's going to give us some interesting examples of how interregional cooperation is also helping to tackle the AI-related challenges and some interesting implementation examples in Tampere, Finland. The floor is yours. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Aino-Maija, and I come from the city of Tampere. Actually, I live in Helsinki, but I work for Tampere, and I will give you a few insights of the project, Interreg project called AI for Citizens, but it ties to a lot of like this smart city and data-driven development work that we have been doing in the city of Tampere for already a decade or even longer. So it all comes together. I think that maybe you don't know that much about the something called City of Tampere in Finland, but we are the third largest city in Finland, and we are also the fastest growing. So it's very tempting location right now for people in Finland to move in and start living and working in Tampere area. So it has a really good like positive atmosphere of development, many different kinds of things. And we are also like quite outgoing, so not just developing things in our own city, but a lot of my colleagues are constantly working with other countries in interregional projects and so on. And we try to share as much of our experience and knowledge to the other countries and cities and public organizations, as well as definitely get something back all the time. AI for Citizen project, it works for supporting ethical and effective AI governance in European cities and regions. So we are helping all the development initiatives to proceed and take the advantage of AI as efficiently and ethically as possible. So our project is kind of like enabling many different kind of things, but we don't have like our own ego as such, but we work together with all the development projects and topics in the city. Oh, the colors have changed. The citizens are there in the middle, the heart of the work that we are doing, and there are work that we do in the city organization, all kinds of like operation models, governance, that type of things. At the same time, we are facing or living in the era of AI, so to say, or data and AI, and it makes a lot of different kind of like changes in the whole society, and we are at the same time experimenting and collecting signals and that kind of things regarding the current era as well. The partners that we are working with are very important part for the cooperation and getting a kind of like better understanding of the status in Europe overall, what kind of things different countries and cities are working in terms of AI, and then learn from each other as well as co-create new solutions and ideas all the time. So a little bit about the project from the Interreg point of view, and as well as the other partners. So we are the lead for the project, but together with us there are Amsterdam, 2 areas from Romania, Bacău and Bucharest. City of Helsinki, so the capital of Finland, Piemonte Nova from Italy, and Riga from Latvia. So this is all of us working for AI for Citizens. And besides the partners, we've one thing that I would highlight about the policy platform, that is just not a policy platform, but it's also a way to find new connections all the time. Almost every week I receive an email from some other Interreg projects or people or something that has something in common with us. So we've made excellent amount of new connections just through the platform or only and already. We started the work last spring, so it's still quite new project, and we have a lot of good things and time to go and proceed with the AI utilization. And that's how it pretty much looks like in practice, what we are doing, especially in Tampere. The AI literacy is one of the main and the biggest things in our project, and we don't talk about just what AI Act says about the AI literacy. It's so many other things. It has a lot of things to do with the original literacy. It has something to do with data literacy, many different kind of things when we are looking at things from in the city perspective. So as you can see from the pictures, we have these like bookmarks that is kind of like the symbol of our project, and we are utilizing those in different kind of like citizen events that we are arranging. I have a couple of these bookmarks here with me, so if there are any bookworms in the audience, please come and get one. Also, something that you might notice in the pictures is the kind of like the inclusivity part. So we have tried to include as many different kind of citizens from the Tampere area to talk about the AI as only possible. So the age groups vary between, let's say, third graders being maybe the youngest ones with whom we've been arranging different kind of events and sessions about the AI. And then also elderly people living in Tampere area who have been keen and curious and interested to know and learn more about the AI. And vice versa, we get a lot of insight and wisdom from these citizen groups that are in different ages and stages of life than us, like people in like working age. But then the slides look totally different than what they were originally, but maybe the content is there. This slide would have been a picture of this kind of like a data-driven development program under the Smart City Development that we've been running in Tampere for many years already. And there is now one missing. Well, anyway, there are different kind of like something we called as a flagships in that data-driven smart city development program. And under each of those flagships, we have some AI initiatives either going on right now or then some good practices and good kind of history from the past. But yeah, maybe I will just skip this one. So I will go through a couple of concrete examples of AI development that we have already implemented in the city of Tampere, and some of them having already a history of quite a few years. And of course, the type of the data and AI work is something that it's never finished. It continues forever. So the data is changing, new different kind of development items coming up and so on. So it's a work ongoing. This Tampere Pulse is one of the great concrete initiatives that has a lot to do also with AI. So it's like a application with what we can forecast and predict, say, like traffic flows in the city. And that's mainly being utilized by local businesses, so that the city of Tampere is not very big, so the local business owners in the city center area can, for example, see that what kind of people flows we are expecting to see in the city center for the next 2 weeks. Is there like football games coming up, any concerts, something like that? And then they can kind of like optimize their business better with this information, like ordering things for the restaurants, scheduling workforces and that type of things. And also, some authorities are also utilizing the same data, so it's been also utilized for kind of like safety purposes and that type of thing. So many different kind of organizations and partners can see that which part of the city we have a lot of traffic or pedestrians or so on, and what times and days and so on. So it has a many different kind of like use cases, so to say. It hasn't been up and running for a very long time, so I think that we haven't yet figured out all the scalability possibilities. And that's also something that why we wouldn't have this going on in the whole country of Finland, or free to copy it anywhere in other European cities and countries as well. We are really happy and eager to share our experiences regarding this solution. I will swipe through a couple of other development areas. One project type of work is this smart urban security and resilience work that we are doing. It has something to do with how we are like forecasting and managing like traffic systems, lightnings, that kind of things, different kind of like event goers and so on. But not much time for that. We have a new Nokia Arena also in Tampere. This is like a little bit like a test bed for all kinds of like digital twins and cityverse plans that we also have. So this kind of like arena that is already combining like social, physical and digital type of experiences. And that's also, it's a great thing as it is also, but then also that we are strategically moving more and more towards cityverse and metaverse type of things. So this is a test bed for those initiatives as well. Yeah, there is a big chip industry in Tampere area, but I will skip that one too. There was supposed to be a video of the story that I will be telling you next, but that didn't work out, so I will try to tell you this great example case and story as well as only possible. It's about the early childhood analytics and what kind of like services we are developing for the families living in Tampere area with the help of data and AI. It has a beautiful history. So time goes back to 10 years or so when there were like a light analytics done for the different kind of like student demographics in Tampere. So we wanted to investigate that what are the students doing in Tampere area, for example, when they graduate. And then quite soon we turned the focus onto the families, and we realized that we don't actually know well enough what kind of family types we have in Tampere area and what are their like service needs based on the kind of like the family demographics, the age of the parents, number of children and that type of things. So then it soon became this early childhood analytics, and that is something that we've been working on ever since. So with the help of data and AI, we are constantly like monitoring and therefore also developing the services for different kind of family types in Tampere area. And I guess it's obvious, but it gives so much better human-centric and unique possibility to develop the different kind of services for those who need them, and not just so that we have like a service portfolio that we are offering to all the families as it is. So this project and development activity, I think, is one of the greatest and the most beautiful story what City of Tampere has in terms of data and AI, and definitely this will be some way one of the good practices also for the AI for Citizens project as we go along. overall, there are kind of like all the different kind of like city digital services that Tampere is having, or how we are viewing at things. And I would say that we are doing different kind of like data and AI development activities in all of these areas. So there would be a lot of good stories to share, as well as hear your experience about some of these items and learn from each other. Okay, again, a little bit different looking kind of slide. What I wanted to highlight here is that when we are talking about data and AI and how to utilize it, it's not a quick win, or it's not a sprint, or like what are we going to do with the Gen AI tools right now. When it comes to utilizing data sciences and AI as a whole, it's a long way, but well, maybe that is something that we are all kind of like used to do, so not constantly looking for some low-hanging fruits and quick wins, but understanding that things are taking a lot of time. So also in the city of Tampere, at the very beginning of, let's say, the times of internet, so to say, we've been developing our digital capabilities and therefore also the data ever since. And right now, yeah, we are in the middle of this data-driven city for citizens work, and then something that is then in the horizon next is that anything that comes up with AI in the future, and then also more and more towards the cityverse type of visions and activities. And then kind of like the ingredients for what makes Tampere quite special and unique place for this kind of like brave and pioneering type of development work and cooperation. 4 things to highlight. I think these public-private partnerships are actually working really well in Tampere area. So it's like a everyday life that we don't even like pay that much attention to, and also the citizen engagement. And I think the city of Tampere is doing really good work with that. We understand the importance of like the continuous development and so on, and also when it comes to the technological infrastructure and solutions. So we try to leverage the existing ones as much as we can, and not just do something new all the time. The atmosphere in the city is very unique. So in the yesterday's event here on the stage, people were talking a lot about the passion and energy, and I totally agree that those are the most important things for the organization and development work to actually get something done. And that is something that we also have in the city of Tampere. And yeah, we are here and we want to foster the international collaboration and interregional cooperation as much as we can. So yeah, that's super important part of all the development work, to share all the knowledge and ideas and development work between the cities and public organizations across the Europe. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Aino-Maija. Maybe you can take a seat. So, apologies, we are a bit beyond schedule, but don't worry. Now it's time for questions and then coffee break. So, I'm going to take a couple of questions from the audience. It's going to be, don't be shy. Over there.
You're super bright.
Yes.
Hello. I would like to ask Maija some things about the production of the chips, because we know that Europe is far behind and very, very late in the game of producing chips.
Yeah.
And in the game of using and producing AI, we are waking up after 7 or 8 years when the AI exploded back to 2017, 2018. We are 8 years behind in terms of blockchain technology compared to some other great nations that we see what they are doing. And I will like to ask you, what about this production of chips? What is the capacity? What kind of chips you produce in Tampere?
One of the reasons why I swiped that slide is that that's probably the area that I'm least not aware of. But I can quite easily pull up some information and other figures. It's just it's quite recent investment, also the development activities and the investments that we have also gotten from the EU. But yeah, sorry, I don't have any exact figures to tell you, but I will look them up.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Over there. Thank you, Arnaud.
She fit.
Thank you for this quick action. Hi, good morning, and thank you for the presentation. I would like to hear more about the citizens' engagement part that you mentioned. This is something that we're really interested in Greece. Actually, I'm representing Action Edelas. And I would like to hear if you have an insight about tools or methodologies that you use in order to gather input from the citizens. Thank you.
We are anxiously looking for those too. It's like a tedious work when you feel that you are not doing enough, and it like this ethical and this citizen engagement part is something that we should be able to scale. And I've been discussing with a few local ethicians, if that's the word, about some solutions that they've been developing, and I'm looking into those. So again, something that maybe we can continue discussions. But as of now, and to be honest, mainly the citizen engagement has been like this kind of like face-to-face events that we've been arranging in public libraries, community colleges, events for kids in Tampere area, and all kinds of like live events. But yeah, it's never enough. Very important, but you can't meet everyone.
And for your information, we delivered a webinar last week or 2 weeks ago on the topic of citizen engagement. So if you go into our Interreg Europe website, the section is called Event Recordings. You can find the recording. We had a speaker from Politecnico di Milano, actually one of Gianluca's colleagues, who presented some different methodologies for citizen engagement. But maybe also, Laurent, you can say something about how not the citizens, but the patients were involved in your project that can be useful?
For replicate patient?
Well, no, for the citizen engagement for patients, is there
how did you engage? How do you the patients when to actively contributing to the project? Were there any kind of workshops or engagement sessions, or not? It's just a question.
I don't know. The engage of patient. Actually, I don't know.
You don't know. Okay, no problem.
Sorry.
Thank you.
The experience you have with the first stage of this hospital model, do you envisage the replicability in other hospitals in the region? You know, now you've got the national level interested, the regional government. Is it a model? Because replicability is something everybody wants to learn about. But at your regional level, do you think that's going to happen?
Yes, well, we are looking for about repeatability, and actually the test is on the support hospital, the big one in the hospital group. But when we have designed the IT infrastructure, we have designed for all the group.
Okay.
So actually, in this year, in the hospital group, we have a big one. It's William Morey Hospital, and we have 2 secondary hospitals in Autun and Mont-Soleil-Mines. And this year, we start to connect the different medical devices on this site. Because we have designed the IT infrastructure for all the group. And in fact, what is it? We have the same identity for the patient. We have the same Active Directory. We have a medical device, mobile medical device for all the groups. And we have built this IT
from the beginning of the project
for the group, and we have. This is for the group, so it's a good repeatability. It's the next step, and in the same time we speak about other groups for make connection for other medical specialty. Like cardiac surgery, something, and we have a chance to send and receive medical data come from other groups. This is the next step.
Okay, well, we'll learn about that the next time you come and share the project with us.
With pleasure.
Thank you, Laurent.
Thank you. And well,
Coffee.
You don't see it, but there is a screen with red numbers saying, and then red dots saying that we are 21 minutes late. So I believe that all of you deserve a coffee break, and I suggest that we come back here at 11:20 for the working groups. Okay. Thank you for your participation. Thank you again to the speakers. Huge applause. And enjoy your coffee break, and see you in 20 minutes.
Come back. You can leave your things on the chairs here. They're not going to be moved, so be fine.